OzGIS can display all the attributes in an attribute file as a movie. So what you see in the movie is you flicks through all the attributes in the file and changes colors according to the classification. Now the only thing it changes are the colors and the titles for all of the attributes. None of the usual diagram legend is also not changed. So it's all about speed. Colors change, the attribute titles change, but the legends do not. Now, although you can display any attributes at all, what this is really about is displaying time series data. In other words, data that's sampled at a regular interval. And so, for example, here I have an attribute file in the spreadsheet in the usual way, and I've got sales here, sales for 1990, 1991, 92 and so on, a whole series in this attribute file. Now I can go away and set up a map for displaying this data, and the way I do it is first define my map. So we're zones for an attribute file, and I've got some New South Wales data here, and in particular we've got our time series data we just looked at, which I've entered into the system, and it's displayed on a postcode map for Sydney. So this is the usual stuff, we're just defining a map. However, because we want to use this map for a movie, we've got our restrictions. Now, first of all, the only thing that changes is the colors. So first of all, we don't want a diagram on the map, so we can change our attribute diagram and remove the diagram. And secondly, the legend isn't going to change. So what we really want is a fixed classification and a fixed legend as a result. So we can, for example, have a look at setting this up in various ways. I can do it simply by just making it say a pseudo color map, but let's put in limits and set up the this in a completely general way. So we'll put in our low end of our range to 0. This is down here. Now I know that although this attribute's got at this top value, in fact within the file the attributes have all sorts of values, and the maximum one I get is something like 70,000. Okay. And having done that, I'll fix the limits at this range between 0 and 70,000. Now also within the classification, I can change the classification method. I'll use selected class intervals, and okay, we'll use 5 classes as we've got now. Okay, maximum value for class 1 will make say 1,000. Maximum value for class 2 2,000 say. Maximum value for class 3 4,000, and maximum value for class 4 10,000 say. Okay, and we can see we've now got our legend set up. We've got fixed the ranges, and we've got fixed values in the middle here, and that's will stay fixed for all the attributes. And I can say do the next sequential attribute and As you can see, the legend hasn't changed, but it's got the right stuff. Attribute from a list, and we'll do the first one. And one reason this one has got missing data in it, and we probably want that for in case it occurs elsewhere. Okay, so having done that, that's our map set up. We can do other stuff. We can put different overlays on it. We set up a map in the usual sort of way. However, we can now, what we do is we'll save that map, and we'll call it, say, sales. Save map. Give it a title, sales. Now we can go away and set up our movie, and we do this as a preparation process. So we're going to generate a time-lapse movie, and the first thing it's going to ask us is what save map we want to use, and that's the one we did. Now it asks us to give a file to store all the information about the movie, and then what it does is it processes all the attributes on the file, and as it processes it stores the titles, names of the attributes, and also the colors for each attribute. And in addition, the file has also got the name of that saved map that we used to generate it. So it's put in some. Okay, and now we've prepared our movie, and we can go away and in our map display a time-lapse movie, give it the name, which was sales. The map gets drawn from the saved map and stored inside it, and now we're displaying our movie. Once, as before, we're flicking through our titles here, and we're changing the colors within the map. Now it's usual in this sort of time series data to have the title fairly well fixed, and the only thing you change on it is the date, is the time, if it's might be your days of a year or your hours or whatever your interval is. Okay, now once we've got that up, we get various options to display it. Now we can have a delay after each attribute. We usually set this to about a second, so we'll set the delay between each attribute to a second, and we can also set up a number of times to display everything. So we can say, let's do this, let me show you. I'm set up, say, to do it twice. And you can also give the delay after each complete run through. So you can delay after each display after the end of the set. So we'll wait for 5 seconds. Okay, now we can display the movie again. Here we go, we're flicking through them from 1990. 2001. Flicking through our colors. Okay, 1617, the last one, and now it pauses that 5 seconds before it starts running through the movie again. Now on a small map like this, the colors change quite rapidly. If you have a map with, say, a few thousand zones in it, then it does slow down a bit, and in that case you may not want your second delay in between each attribute being displayed. So we're almost finished. Wait our 5 seconds, and we're finished. So we can change, for example, the delay after each attribute and make it 0, and display our movie again. And now there's no delay, and it's running through quite a lot faster. You've still got our 5-second delay at the end, and away we go. So there you have display of movies. We first used this about 30 odd years ago. We had results from an election night counts, and so we had a map of electorates, and we displayed the counts as they had come in on the night. And it was quite interesting. You could see initially you start off with everything changing quite rapidly, and then it fairly soon stabilized as your safe seats sort of settled down to what they were going to end up as, and in the end you just had a few of the marginal seats were swinging a bit until finally that stabilized well. So there you have it, map movies.